How is it going, everyone? Nick Marro here with Smitty and Occupied Fantasy. As always, helping you break down tonight's NBA DFS main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. And I emphasize main slate because it is Martin Luther King Day today. We've already had a bunch of games going on during the day, a few going on right now. But our focus will be on the four-game main slate on both DraftKings and FanDuel. Smitty, we chatted a little bit, but yeah, what are your initial takes going into this one? Kind of interesting four-gamer to break down.
Yeah, interesting's a good word. It's not too bad. The last game is pretty good, and then there's a few other spots that seem pretty good. The Embiid news could kind of change the slate a little bit, but overall, it's fine.
Yeah, I feel the same way mostly, and I do agree. I think the late game is the most appealing, which kind of makes it tough to just sit around and wait and load up on that one. But we'll see how things shake out here, especially with this Embiid news. But yeah, before we dive in, guys, appreciate you being here on the holiday. We got Ben, Keith, as always. Jose, any Philly injury news? We're still waiting on Embiid, right? We did just get word that Paul George is out, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we'll break that down in just a second here. And Tareen in here as well. Appreciate you guys and gals and gang. Let's get into it here. So first game on the slate, we have the Pacers taking on the 76ers in Philadelphia, 227 and a half point total. Starting on the Indiana side of things, obviously no Halliburton still. Benedict Matherin's going to be out. Ethan Thompson is listed as doubtful. And then Obi Toppin's going to be out here as well. So if we pull up Indiana, kind of the same situation for them as it has been the past few weeks. Siakam looks good. He's been playing a little bit better lately. A big part of that was Mathurin going out. Nemhard seeing increased usage, playing a little bit better lately. Those are the two you can kind of rely on, if you even want to say rely on. They've been pretty solid. Aaron Naismith, for his price, he's kind of 3-point dependent, so I'm never crazy about getting to him, but he's had a few big games here or there. Jay Huff has had huge games and then games where he only plays 10 minutes, but I think I lean to the side of he's a decent play here tonight on a limited slate. And then Johnny Furphy's another guy who I've mixed in a little bit just as like this value piece you can use to open things up if you're looking to go stars and scrubs. Never expecting a lot out of him, but he has been playing more minutes at his price. Can be a useful piece. They're getting McConnell back tonight. Probably viable off the bench. Don't love him with the price increase, but really it's Siakam and Nemhard for me. Maybe some Huff. Smitty, I know you had a huge takedown with Huff earlier in the week, but go ahead and break down the Pacers for us here.
Yeah, I don't know. Not too interesting to me. They will be a little more interesting, I think, if we do get Embiid out. Kind of makes these plays a little better, just because you expect the game to stay a little closer. So Huff could be interesting if Embiid's out. Same with Isaiah Jackson. Don't mind taking shots there in tournaments. Would prefer Embiid out for either one of them, but I think they're okay. Nimhard seems fine, and then Siakam's going to be pretty interesting if we get Embiid out. Just you're going to have Drummond or Bona out there, pretty good people to attack. So I think Siakam could be a pretty good tournament play. That's pretty much it. I don't really want to get too deep into this team.
Yeah, when you go deep on the bench for the Pacers, you never really know what you're going to get. It's Rick Carlisle. He likes to run a deep rotation, kind of mixes things up night to night. Is what it is. But again, we like a few of the starters here. On the Philadelphia side of things, obviously still waiting on that Joel Embiid news. We do already know that Paul George is going to be out. Jared McCain is down with the G League. It looks like he might be back with the team. Kelly Oubre is available here. Yeah, man. I mean, it's tough to really break this team down until we have the Embiid news. I will say with Paul George out, we could feel better about VJ Edgecombe, who does look really good here. Where is he? 6,700. Is that over on FanDuel? Yeah, 6,700 for him on FanDuel feels like a really solid option. Maxi, obviously, whenever Embiid's out, is going to be a guard we're going to have a lot of interest in. To me, those two are the most appealing. Whoever does get the nod here at center, it's probably going to be Drummond, would be viable. I don't know that we need him as value on this slate necessarily. There's not a ton to pay up for. But yeah, man, I like Maxi already. I like Edgecombe already. I like both even more if Embiid's out. But how do you feel about some of these secondary pieces? Go ahead and break down Philly for us. And it sounds like you're in agreement that you do think Embiid ends up sitting here front end of a back-to-back.
Yeah, makes more sense to sit him against the Pacers and then play him against the Suns, which are a better team. But who knows? It's the Sixers. Hard to predict. If Embiid plays, he's in a pretty good spot, so I don't mind getting there. Seems appropriately owned. If he's out, though, Philly becomes probably one of the more chalky teams on the slate, but for good reason. Oubre is going to look good starting, and then I would think Drummond starts as well. So not too interested in Drummond. I think he's okay. He's cheap, and then Bona also as his backup. The minutes for Drummond when he starts lately haven't been like crazy. They kind of just go with the hot hand, so it's either him or Bona. Don't mind mixing either in, but I wouldn't say either's like a staple in my lineups. Um, but Maxi, I think Maxi looks really good on both sides. Pretty interested in Maxi. If we get him beat out, looks even better. Same with Edgecombe. I like him now, but I like him even more if Embiid sits.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Maxi and Edgecombe definitely feel like the best plays here, and Oubre's ownership is going to skyrocket if he slides into the starting lineup. I will say, since he's been back from injury, he hasn't been shooting the ball great. He's so cheap that you're still probably going to want to get to him. But if you're looking for a pivot, we have one on this team in Quentin Grimes. We haven't projected just one less minute. He could see plenty of usage here with a few of these guys out. So just someone to mix in. And again, I think regardless of whether Embiid is in or out, Barlow's going to get the start. I don't have much interest in him. Would you? Could he play some minutes at the five? You think against Indiana if Embiid sits?
I don't think so. They're pretty particular about running Drummond and Bona pretty much on the 5 minutes. I still think he could be fairly interesting though if he's really going to be 1% owned. That might change if Embiid's out, but I don't know. He seems like a good dart.
Yeah, and dart I think is a good word for it because yeah, he's had some big games. Usually it's when Drummond and or Bona are having floor games with him beat out, but I don't know that there's direct correlation there in terms of rotations. But yeah, guys, when we do get that news, we'll obviously talk through it. It is the first game on the slate, so you will know that going in. But again, it's just going to make us like Maxi and Edgecombe more than we already do, and we kind of like them as it is. So not too hard there. Next game on the slate, we got the Suns taking on my Nets here in Brooklyn. Suns are favored here on the road. No surprise to me. Devin Booker is available after missing some time. Jordan Goodwin available here. Jalen Green sounded like he might have been back today. He is still out. Should be back very soon. And then Booyah is going to be available here as well. So looking at the Suns lineup, obviously with Booker back, that's going to send Grayson Allen to the bench. Allen had some great games. I don't know that I really want to play him coming off the bench. He has a ceiling as like the last piece in, but not a ton of appeal to me. If you're looking for a pivot off Maxi, I don't know that I am. I think Booker's someone you can maybe mix in. We have him for 34 minutes here. He's going to be fine. Gillespie, obviously, we see his rates go down in a major way with Booker back in the lineup, so he's someone I'd be avoiding. Dylan Brooks, can get to him, just floating around, taking threes, taking shots. Decent as the last piece in. Surprisingly, though, two teams that don't play great defense, or at least aren't known to play great defense. One of the lower totals on the board, 215.5 points. I don't know if there's anything I'm really prioritizing from Phoenix tonight, Smitty. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. They're priced up, and it's pretty hard to get there. Mark Williams, I think, would be more appealing if they weren't on the front end of a back to back. We've seen his minutes kind of limited on back to backs, so that way he could play both games. So yeah, it's pretty tough. I still think you could play him like he's playable, but no priorities. I think Iguodaro also to that effect could be in play if they do limit Williams for the front end of a back to back. It's a decent game environment for bigs, so don't mind getting to Oso as like a cheap punt, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and again, if it wasn't a back to back, I do think on paper Williams would look good, but you brought it up. I mean, his minutes have fluctuated. It's like he does sometimes get 27 on either side of that back to back, but we don't know if that's going to be tonight, especially if they're handling the Nets as they're expected to. Maybe his minutes are cut. Over on the Nets side of things, Igor Diamon's going to be out. No Haywood Highsmith still. Ben Seraphin's out. Dayron Sharp out, as is Cam Thomas. So yeah, they're kind of mixing and matching guys as they tank and rest and all that good stuff. Projected starting lineup for me is going to be Terrence Mann, Drake Powell, MPJ, Clowney, Claxton. I do think with Powell out, you could rely on a few more minutes for Wolf off the bench. I don't know that necessarily that's something I'd be rushing to. I do think Claxton looks pretty good here at his price. Just as a tournament play, I think he's a little bit underowned, but the minutes for him haven't been all that consistent. It's not like the Suns are a big team, especially if Williams' minutes are limited, so just keep that in mind. But again, don't mind getting to some Claxton. Porter is the guy coming off a game where he rested. I actually do have some interest in as a tournament play. Obviously, feels a little bit pricey here. But I think he could definitely put up a big score, and he's around 15% or lower owned on both sites. He's someone I'd mix in. The rest of this team's kind of boomer bust. I mean, Clowney obviously has had some ceiling games. The floor is very low for him. Terrence Mann probably starting at point guard, quote unquote. He would be probably my preferred value piece here. And then Tyrese Martin off the bench, I don't mind. I'm a big fan of Drake Powell, the player, but the minutes just haven't been there consistently for him yet. Jordy's kind of reluctant to let him push 30, so just keep that in mind. But just to quickly recap, I don't mind Claxton. Porter is probably my favorite play here. That's not exactly a hot take. Don't mind mixing in Clowney. Man, assuming he starts at point guard, looks fine. Always has better games as the starting point guard, so keep that in mind. And then Tyrese Martin off the bench is so damn cheap that I think he could get there if he's hitting a few threes, as we've seen him do recently. But again, I'm mentioning a lot of names. It doesn't mean I love this team here. Smitty, how do you feel about the Nets here at home against Phoenix?
Yeah, it feels like we're on we have the Nets every time we stream together. I feel like, which I'm happy with. I'm happy I don't have to do it with somebody else. Who do you think plays the backup center here? Is the question I have. You think it's
It
Wolf?
would be Wolf, but they don't have to stay that big. Is my point. Like
Yeah,
I think they're going to keep Claxton on the floor whenever Williams is out there, and then they can play a little bit of small ball. I mean, Wolf can play the five, but I don't know that they run a true 1 through 5. I think Clowney could be playing some five here. Um, but yeah, I think if you're looking at a depth chart and it's five guys, it's going to be Wolf. But I don't think they really have to run that type of rotation against Phoenix.
yeah, I could see that, especially against Oso, which makes it pretty interesting if we think Williams is going to be on somewhat of a limit. Maybe Claxton's not a great play. Maybe Clowney could be pretty interesting. And then same with Wolf as a value play. I think I don't mind getting to either one of them. Normally, I'm not really a Clowney guy just because he relies on threes. But if there's a chance he'll play backup center, I think he's pretty interesting. If he could give me some rebounds, which
Yeah.
yesterday he was kind of doing a little bit of everything. So don't mind getting to Clowney. MPJ, I think, looks pretty good. He looks like a good tournament option. They're not projected to really lose by a lot, even though it is one of the wider spreads on the slate. So don't mind getting to MPJ. And then we kind of see like a lot of ownership on Tyrese Martin, which I think is pretty gross. I did yesterday
Yeah.
as well. I prefer Traore if I'm going to go into that. You think that's right?
Yeah, I think Trevor is the better player by a lot. And yeah, I would definitely go to him. I'm honestly surprised that he's not drawing a little bit more ownership on FanDuel. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm a little bit surprised he's not getting more love. And he did play on the front end of a back to back. I'm trying to go through the schedule here. He's kind of like Mark Williams in that he maybe could see fewer minutes.
Yeah.
But if he plays the 25 we have him projected for, I would play him over Mann and Martin pretty confidently. So
Okay.
that's a good pivot. I appreciate you shouting him out. That's a really good
Yeah.
call.
And then the one other guy I at least wanted to get your thoughts on is Zaire Williams. Like no one's playing him. We have him for 20 minutes. If he actually plays 20, I feel like that's a pretty decent play.
Yeah, I mean the thing with Zaire is he missed a few games with an injury. He's back now. How is his conditioning? I imagine he's perfectly good to go. In which case, yeah, we could get 20 minutes out of him. So yeah, mix him in. I wouldn't want him in a lineup with like a Martin or a bunch of these secondary pieces. But yeah, man, I mean he had been playing like 23 to 26 when he was healthy, even with the whole team healthy, with like Igor and everyone in there. So I would not be hesitant to get to Zaire. I think you can mix him in.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. But again, yeah, it's one of those nights like Jordy. He's a really good coach. I will say that about him. But he likes to mix and match. Tries to figure different things out. Like the rest schedule for these guys is another thing he's been kind of playing with. So you never really know. But again, I think you brought up a great point. Like they have no true backup center here tonight. I think it could benefit someone like Clowney. He's had 7+ boards in 3 straight games, even with Claxton in there. So I don't mind him. I'm a huge fan of Danny Wolf. I just wish the minutes were more consistent. But I think him and Clowney are the most likely to benefit here. But I really do appreciate you bringing up Traore because I kind of forgot him. But
Yeah.
off the bench, he's been really solid.
Yep.
And I do want to just mention quickly, there is a world where he starts tonight over Man. I know most sites are projecting Man as the point guard, but Traore, they do want to see what he can do. He has closed over Igor at times when Jordy's mad at Igor. So maybe he gets a shot here tonight with Igor out. Okay, that's enough Nets talk for today. Moving into the next game here, we got the Celtics taking on the Pistons. Then I will get to chat, guys, before we get to the late game. But on the Boston side of things, we have Chris Boucher is probable. I don't know that he's going to be in the rotation. Josh Minot's still out. Peyton Pitchard, who missed the game, he is available. Jason Tatum, obviously, still out here. Nothing else really significant to talk through. Not the best matchup, but I think if you polled, I don't know, most NBA media, they tell you these are the two best teams in the East right now. Really fun game on paper just to watch as a fan. But as far as DFS goes, I'm not too crazy about it. I think, as always, you can mix in Brown, White, Pritchard, feel pretty good about it. Kada, minutes for him kind of fluctuate, but on the slate that feels like we don't have a ton to like at center, the more we talk through it, definitely don't mind getting to him. Hauser set a record for 3-point attempts the other night. Pretty ridiculous that he didn't take 1 2-pointer, but yeah, I mean, if he's hitting those shots, obviously he could score well for us in fantasy. And then Simons has been really solid off the bench lately. Don't mind mixing him in here either. But yeah, in general, like, I don't love the spot. Obviously, Detroit's a good defensive team. This team is pretty healthy. But I wouldn't be shocked if a Boston player or two broke through here. It's just a matter of picking amongst them. Smitty, how do you feel about the Celtics here on the road?
Yep, pretty similar. I do think Kata's in play. Just like you said, center's not great. It's not a great matchup, but his minutes have been pretty good. So don't mind Kata. And then you have like the big three, I guess: White, Pritchard, and Hauser. No, I'm just kidding. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown seems under owned. Like you're overpaying for him, I think, but it's a pretty tight spread, and if they're going to stay in this game, they're going to be one of them probably is having a good game. So I don't mind Jaylen Brown at his ownership. Derek White would probably be my second favorite, and then Pritchard after. But
Yeah.
Pritchard's price is pretty appealing, but he just really hasn't been great. Simon's interesting off the bench on FanDuel at his price. I don't mind taking some shots, but that's pretty much it. Tough team to like really prioritize, but I think they all have some appeal.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Again, I do think Brown's under owned. You're kind of paying up to get different with him. Kada, though, like, the more I kind of think about it, he seems under owned, again, just because it's not the best slate here for centers. All right, let's knock out Detroit here, then I'll get to chat. We got a lot of good comments to rip through. Detroit, Ron Holland's questionable. That's it. We really have nothing else to talk about. We always say when there's a slate where teams are banged up, it's kind of tough to get to the healthy teams. But yeah, man, I think Cade looks great here. Obviously, if you can afford him, he's on the same tier of a Jaylen Brown, of a Maxey, perhaps even more appealing because he's not as reliant on scoring as some of those other options we're paying up for. Coming off a terrible game, too, against Indiana. I think his worst of the year. But yeah, I can see him bouncing back here in a big way. I'd still rate Maxey ahead of him, especially if Embiid's out. I think either way, I would rather get to Maxey here tonight. We'll talk about Curry in the late game as well, but Cade, certainly someone you can consider. Duren, just a few games removed from being hurt. The minutes have been a little bit all over the place for him. Did get up to 28 against Phoenix, though, which is a pretty good sign. I think we have him for 28 here tonight. Again, slate where we're lacking center options. He makes some sense. Other than that, it's tough because they have Harris available, Thompson's available, Duncan Robinson, Levert, Stewart. Like, even if Holland's out, like, they're mixing in guys like Ivy and Green. This is another team, much better team, but a team like Indiana that has a really deep bench, and they do kind of mix in some of these secondary options. They go with the hot hand with their second unit a lot of the time. So outside of Cade and Durant, I don't have much interest in anything. I will say Harris feels a little cheap. Never feel great about being over the field on him, though. Smitty, how do you feel about the Pistons?
Yeah, Tobias Harris is actually pretty interesting to me too. But like you, I don't want to be crazy overweight on Tobias Harris because that's who he is. But it seems like a game he could kind of get up for. He played 29 minutes in his return from injury. Last game was a blowout, so I don't really count that one. But if you get 30 minutes, I think I'd be pretty happy with that. Cade, I think he looks like a good spend up. Like you, I prefer Maxi, but in lineups where I'm trying to get a little different, I like going to Cade. Center, there's like two high end centers, I guess, on the slate if Embiid gets ruled out. So I do think Duran's in play. Don't mind going there. That's pretty much it. Like, you could take shots on Duncan, Asar, but neither one feels that great.
Yep. Yep, right there with you, man. All right, let's look at some of these chat comments here before we get into this late game. Power here, now the powered one, with a nice comment about Indiana. Hope no one's from Indiana. You can read that one yourselves. Oubre is really cheap. Yep. Obviously, if Embiid out, he's going to look better. A few comments here about the Philly game, the Philly line, all that good stuff. Oubre will probably be coming off the bench, Jose. Again, unless Embiid's out, we should have that news soon. Question, does man start a PG Unicorn? I think he will. Don't be surprised to see Traore in there, but it's probably going to be man. Again, Jordy likes to shake things up. But man is the logical play there, and Power's calling the Brooklyn Knots. I mean, we're tanking, man. I hope we keep losing. Drone's not appreciative of Jordy's coaching techniques yesterday, shaking things up. Yeah, the weird rotations with that thin bench, and Draymond's out. That's significant. Will Dillon be guarding Porter? Yes and no. He will be a little bit. I don't think he's going to be glued to him or anything like that, though. They're going to set up screens for Porter. They run a lot of pick and roll and stuff like that to get him open. So I wouldn't worry too much. And then Power said, "Smitty, you're not playing Tobias, my guy." Smitty will play Tobias. I've seen screenshots with him, but again, he's one of these guys that has like the 40-point ceiling you want in that price range. But if his shot's not falling, he could tank a lineup real quick. So definitely a guy you want to mix in. Definitely not the type of guy you want your whole night to rely on. But let's go ahead and get into this late game. We did just get news that Draymond Green's going to be out. Some significant news over on the Miami side of things we'll talk about first. Tyler Hero's going to be out for a little while. He missed a good chunk of the season, came back, looked good. Now he's out again, unfortunately for them. Davion Mitchell probable, Nikola Jovic probable, Jaime Jaquez probable, Pele Larson available. Other than that, nothing we really need to piece through. So the only guy that's out is Hero, but he kind of leads his team in usage. His minutes have been coming up. So what his absence does is creates a vacuum that is going to benefit guys like Powell, Wiggins, even Mitchell. Bam's been playing better lately. I don't know that he has a huge boost in his rates with Hero off the floor, but we still like Bam, especially in a matchup with no Draymond now. Hawkins off the bench has been a guy who's benefited in a big way whenever Hero's out, going back to earlier in the season. And then you can mix in guys like Jovic, Larson, where I don't know that I have a huge take on any of them. I do think Jovic at his price is pretty appealing here, but the minutes have been all over the place for him. So, again, I think Powell's my favorite Heat player here just because we know the usage is there for him. Wiggins at his price looks good. Bit of a revenge narrative for him here going back into Golden State. And then Mitchell, Bam, look good as well. So I like all the starters. You can mix in Larson as that spacer. If his three's falling, he's going to look good. But, yeah, man, no Hero for the Heat for a while. How do you feel about this team going to Golden State?
Yeah, this should be one of the fastest paced games of the night. Pretty close spread, so pretty interested in getting into this game. Like you said, Bam going against a team without Draymond now. Draymond is most of their paint defense, so pretty interested in Bam. I know the ownership's kind of there, but I do think it's warranted. I think he's a good play. And then you kind of have like the guard. Like I think Davion Mitchell is a pretty good play at his price. We don't have a ton of like value you can feel good about, but Mitchell's role is pretty solid when there's no Hero. So I feel pretty good about Mitchell and kind of like the mid range value play. Wiggins, Norm, Powell. I think both of them are good. Wiggins I like a lot, especially on DraftKings where he's a few hundred cheaper. And yeah, so basically all the starters. Hawkes to me seems kind of overowned, but I don't mind playing him a little bit since I'm into the game. And then Larson probably starts and don't mind mixing him in. He's kind of appropriately priced though.
Yeah, I'll say this about Hawkins. Like the games that he has really big games, usually Mitchell's struggling. So maybe have one of those two if you're setting a rule.
Yeah.
But again, all the starters look really good here. Good matchup. And Jose asking, do you know the Miami starting five? I'm pretty confident it's going to be Mitchell, Larson, Powell, Wiggins, Bam. The only spot that could change would be if they went with like Fontecchio or I don't even know. I don't think they're going to run a big lineup here over Larson. It's probably just Larson. I think what I said is going to stick. They like Hawkins off the bench. Smitty, that's what you're expecting too, right? You think it's Larson
Yeah.
too?
Yeah, that should be what they do.
Yeah, I'd be a little bit surprised if they did anything different there. All right, over on the Golden State side of things, Seth Curry is out, Draymond Green is out, D'Anthony Melton's out, and is Guy Santos. So on a bigger slate, I'm never a guy who's too heavy on Steph Curry, but tonight he's kind of tough to get away from at his price. Looks really, really solid here. Just 9,100 on both sides. He's popular. I would rather get to Maxey if Embiid's out, but you can fit both of them pretty easily. Jimmy Butler looks good here. Should see increased rebounding with Draymond off the floor. We still have Draymond in the model here, so just keep that in mind. But I don't mind mixing in guys like Moody. Not crazy about it. Pods off the bench. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think here out loud as I talk through this. Post is probably going to start at center. I don't know that he's going to see many more minutes with Draymond out. They still have Horford available off the bench. They're not playing Kaminga. He's going to get traded at some point. Like, I don't know. Who benefits here other than the obvious, like Butler, Curry? Like, I'm still not crazy about Moody. I'm struggling with Golden State right now, man. I know the good plays are good, but who are these secondary pieces are you getting to when it comes to the Warriors?
Yeah, when it comes to the secondary pieces, actually, I'm pretty interested in Al Horford. As weird as that might sound, you could play him at power forward on DraftKings, which I think is pretty nice. Could get up there in minutes, like a pretty decent amount of minutes. Plus, with the high paced game, it's just kind of his minutes are more valuable. So, pretty interested on a bad center slate to get over the field in Al Horford, which sounds gross, but yeah, I like him. I do like pods. No Melton's is pretty big for pods. Plus,
Yeah,
you take off
that's true.
Draymond, just kind of another handler. So they're really short ball handlers. So I do think pods looks pretty solid. Moody, I think his minutes are more secure now, especially with no Melton. I'm not like super excited about Moody, but I think he's fine to get to. So them three primarily for me, and then like Gary Payton was kind of popping a little for me. Don't mind him. We don't have a ton of cheap value like Gary Payton or Tyrese Martin or whatever is your choice. So it's tough. But I expect Will Richard to probably start. Not really that interested in him either. I think he's okay. Like if you mix him in, but really like Steph. But Jimmy's probably my favorite play from Golden State.
Yeah, Jimmy in his position, I think the easiest to get to. There's a lot of good guards, even for a small slate, so I'm with you on that. Yeah, Moody, like I'm always pivoting to Melton there, but Melton's unavailable, so maybe you could get some Moody. But you brought up Pods. I think he's the most under-owned play here. Definitely someone I'll be mixing in. Probably comes off the bench. He's been playing really well lately, and a few extra minutes for him could go a long way. So a lot to like in this late game. Highest total on the slate between the Heat and the Warriors, both missing a few key pieces. So definitely load up on that late game. And you're set up if any news breaks weird, you will be able to pivot. Obviously, having a lot of those spots in your lineup with this. So yeah, Will Richard price point over Boya. Um, yeah, if Richard starts, he's fine. Like thing with him, he's a shooter. It's just tough to expect him to take a ton of usage from Steph. But yeah, somebody you don't mind Richard if he starts, right? I mean, Spencer's the other kid I like on that team, but I don't think he's going to get much run here.
Yeah, I don't mind mixing Richard in.
Yeah, Jose Moody's going to start. Moody's been starting even with Draymond in, so I would expect Moody to start here. Let's go ahead and get into some dummy builds, and then we can circle back. Still no Embiid news, right? I don't think that's out yet.
No, I keep checking. Nothing yet.
Yeah, yeah, that's obviously important. We'll use that as an opportunity to plug the Discord tonight. We got Jayhawk in there at 6:30 Eastern, taking you up until lock, kind of talking through any of that late breaking news, any weird lineups, things like that. We'll be in there talking it through with him as well. So let's go ahead and start a build here. I know we like the late game. Do we build for Embiid to be out? Is that cocky of us to do? I mean, I kind of feel that way, but the
Yeah,
longer it takes, the less I'm confident
I know that's
what's
how
going
I
to
feel
happen.
too. I was pretty positive, like 100% sure, like an hour ago. Now I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, that's probably the way to go. Or we could do one. We probably have time to do one of each.
yeah, yeah. Let's say he's out. I think Maxi is like the obvious play, and then I do like Edgecombe even over here at 72.
Yeah,
You're kind of paying a premium, but I don't know. It's a small slate. All right. Next, I mean, center is kind of brutal tonight. I do think Duren's fine. Like my favorite's probably Keita at his
yeah,
price.
yeah. I
Like
don't mind K or
the
Bam.
price is just so nice on him. Feel free to throw some names at me. Obviously, we're going to start loading up on Miami here. I want to get Powell in. I think we probably want to get Wiggins.
Wiggins. Yeah. Um, let's see. We could go pods.
Yeah, yeah, I like that. Getting even more exposure to that late game. Then we're left with 4,900 per. Need one forward. Let's see what's down in this range. I don't mind Wolf. If Man starts at point guard, I mean, you're getting him at forward. That's kind of useful. I don't mind that. We got Moody down there. Oubre's right there, assuming he starts. There's a
Yeah, I
lot
do
of
like
names here to
Ubre
choose
too.
from,
I like all those. It's tough.
right? I mean, maybe we go about it this way then. Let's go to utility. If we're in like this range, is there anyone we're trying to force in that isn't a forward? I don't know that there is. Get a little more pricey. I mean, Brooks looks okay. I don't really want to go there. No, we can't go Nemhard. He's too expensive. I don't know. Let's go back to forward. Yeah, let's go man. If he doesn't start at point, I would say go Wolf. If Wolf were to start, you have Larson as a starter there as well. Then you're left with 5,500. We got Simons, Clowney, Jaquez. I think all of them are fine. Do you have a
Yeah,
preference from this group? You also got your boy Tobias Harris.
yeah, maybe Tobias.
Hey, for the sake of the show and the bit, we'll go with Tobias Harris. But again, guys, make sure man's starting at point. If he's not, I'd proceed with some caution on that one. You could go to Traore or even Martin as the punt, but we have other value in the late game. Like you can even go cheap on one of these spots and upgrade the other. How much do we expect Ware to play? Personally, I don't think he's one to gain a ton of minutes with Hero out. He did start for a while. We have him at just 17 minutes though, Smitty. Does that feel right for you to wear? I could see maybe a couple more, but it's not like Golden State's big. Do you think they need him here?
Yeah, I think 17 is probably good.
And the thing about Ware is he's like in the doghouse with Spo. I don't know if anyone's listened to those post game interviews. There's like this whole thing right now, back and forth. Like Spo said some comments about like, yeah, I can't trust him out there late in games, and like he was very blunt with him. And then the media like came to his defense, and Ware was like, no, I get it. Like he's my coach. He's trying to coach me up. But it's been this whole exchange there, but his minutes are kind of limited right now, just for what it's worth. All right. So let's build as if Embiid's in, and we're gonna get off Maxi real quick. We don't have to change everything here. We'd probably get rid of Edgecombe too, right? And then we're gonna go. I don't know. We could go Curry.
Yeah, probably start
That's
with
probably the
Curry.
logical play, right?
Yeah,
Um,
we
I
already
don't
have.
know. I don't.
Do we have Jimmy? No.
No, no Jimmy. Yeah, and honestly, I don't mind playing them in the same lineup. Or we
No.
just have to punch shooting guard. Maybe we go like Larson, something like this. 52. It's pretty easy to make that pivot if we need
Yeah.
to. Wouldn't be playing Grimes with Jimmy in though. I will say that. This range is kind of gross. 5K. Huff isn't crazy. I don't love it. Uh, Might have to downgrade Steph, especially if we're prioritizing Jimmy, just to get something better in that utility spot. I don't know. Let's say Nemhard just for the sake of this.
I wish they'd
Direct.
just give
I
us
mean,
the
this is
news, man.
what's that?
I wish they'd just give us the news.
I know. I know. I know. We're talking hypotheticals. Yeah, man. Power when it's tough to make the dummy. It's a rough slate. And also, I mean, waiting on the news makes it tough too because we could be more convicted in some of those Sixer plays. But obviously, we're waiting. So let's, for the sake of this, say Embiid is in. I think because obviously, if he's out, we're going to Maxi and Edgecombe. You're going to mix in some Oubre. I don't think that's crazy, but let's go Steph and Jimmy here. I think they're both too cheap, um, or at least Jimmy. I mean, let's get
Yeah,
some Miami guys. I'll try to get the obvious ones in here real quick.
I like Bam
Is
too on FanDuel Power Forward eligible,
Ooh, I like it.
and he's cheaper, I think.
Yeah, the price is kind of crazy on him. He's been playing a lot better lately too. Center, I mean, Kate is still probably my favorite punt. Is there anyone else you'd really want to get to here?
Not really. I guess if Embiid is in, he's a pretty good play, but no,
Yeah,
probably Kata. Not too into Claxton. Don't mind Al Horford, but
yeah. Horford's not crazy, but
for the sake of this, let's do
for the
Kata.
sake of our viewers, maybe we'll leave that risk tolerance to you. I mean, it has been paying off for you this year, man. So maybe you guys should be playing some Al Horford tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in Pods. I think he's a nice play
Yeah,
there. We haven't got Wiggins in yet. I think at his price, he's pretty logical.
Ubre is
Um,
super cheap.
yeah, Oubre is too cheap here. Like even if Embiid's in, obviously better if he's out. But 4,300 for him, 30 plus point ceiling, tough to get away from. Though we're left with 8K per for point guard. I mean, I don't know. We go Nemhard and a pay up. What's he going to leave us? Derek White, you. Not that I don't like Derek White, but I was kind of hoping we'd get to one of these studs. Let's go. What does Cade leave us? 56? Ugh. Yeah, I
I
kind of
still,
handicapped us on this one, man. Who do you like at point?
yeah,
Davion?
we could try Maxi or Curry and see what that gives us.
I
Yeah,
think this
Davion.
is it. Yeah, let's go Davion. We can still get Cade in there. Obviously, if Embiid's out, we go to Maxi, and then this way we can upgrade something if we wanted. We have 600 left to go to Wiggins or I don't know Kada, but I do like Wiggins and Kada enough that I don't think we have to force it. Yeah, this is a good build, guys. I don't think we have to reinvent the wheel here. And honestly, on these smaller slates, there is a bit more merit to leaving a little bit of salary. If you like your whole lineup, you don't have to use it all. On a huge slate, given how efficient pricing is for the most part in NBA, it does make sense to use it all up. But for a gamer, want to get a little bit different, I don't think 600 is insane. Smitty, any last thoughts before we get out of here, man? I think we got better slates coming this week. Definitely looking forward to it. But yeah, man, I mean, the prize pools are the same. Let's get after it.
Yep. Good luck and just be watching for lineups.
Yep. Take care, everyone. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Happy MLK Day. And let's see some screenshots in the Discord. Take care. Bye.